Hey, since you are taking your first set of test outs next week, I didn't want to leave you all alone with explaining the directions and how these all will work because you've not done these before. So, um, I want to run through what these test outs will look like next week so you have an opportunity to understand, how it's going to go, how you're going to be graded, all of that kind of stuff. You have 4 test outs to take next week, and they're all little. They're not as long as a whole big test. They all kind of add up to a test, if that helps you to figure that out or understand that a little bit better. So I'm going to go over the 4 of them so you know what to expect. If you have additional questions, you can always email me those questions so that you're ready for that next week. On Wednesday, September 1st, you're going to take 3 of these test outs. They're all very short, which is why we can get 3 of them done in one day. The first one is a reading test out that says you will have a list of names, and you're simply going to circle M if it's a typically masculine name, or F if it's typically a feminine name. These will all be Hispanic names. Some of them may be people in your class, some of them may not, and you'll just have to decide them. There will be 8 names total, so a total of 8 points, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going to be a weighted grade, so it will be a lot. And just remember that male names in Hispanic cultures tend to end in the letter O. Female names tend to end in the letter A. There are some exceptions to that rule, but that's the most part. For the most part, that's how it goes. So that will take place on Wednesday, September 1st. Also on September 1st, you'll have like a listening type of test out that you'll have to write some things about. You'll get a paper that has 6 blanks on it, and you're going to hear 6 names, Hispanic names, spelled out in letters, and you'll have to copy down those names based on the spelling. This is what we've been doing on the whiteboards a lot in class, so you're prepared for this. These will be Hispanic names. They will not be typical American names, and it'll be something like, for example, like here's number 1. You might hear, think of a simple name, Hota. So you write a J. Ooh. So you write a U. Ah. You write an A. N-A. You write an N. And then you have 1. And then you have a name. They'll be repeated to you and worked out nicely, and that should be fine. That'll be out of 6 points. Weighted points. Finally, on Wednesday, September 1st, you'll have a presentational speaking test out. This is one of your speaking test outs in this chapter. For this one, you're going to simply go around the room, like in a circle, and introduce yourself to the class, which we've done already numerous times. The clincher of this one is that you cannot repeat what the person ahead of you says in regards to introducing yourself. So if the person in front of you says me llamo, you need to say something different. If the person in front of you says yo soy, you need to say something different. You've got me llamo, yo soy, or mi nombre es that are all ways to introduce. So make sure you know all 3 because you don't know what the person in front of you will say. But you're just going to introduce with your Spanish name. So this one will be out of 3 points. 3 points if you introduce yourself correctly and pronounce everything correctly. 2 points if you introduce yourself and maybe mess up pronunciation a little bit. And 1 point if you just like blurt out your name and nothing else. That kind of thing. So that's a 3-point test out. Finally, the last test out on Friday, September 3rd, is your interpersonal conversation. And that's the screenshot we've been working on, where you're exchanging names with a partner and how to spell those names. That conversation does need to be from memory. You can't be reading from the screenshot. You can't be reading from your vocab. It has to be just a natural conversation between you and somebody else, completely in Spanish. I'm going to have you speak with a partner from your seating area. So if there's somebody you would prefer that you sit with, you can have the conversation with them. We just need to make sure everyone in your seating area has the conversation. So everyone has to have a turn at some point. If somebody needs to have the conversation twice, that's fine. I'll only grade one of them. But again, the conversation needs to be done from memory. The interpersonal conversation is also worth 3 points. Again, it's weighted so that, what am I trying to say? Even though it's only 3 points, it's going to have some weight in the grade book. It's going to mean something more than that. So you can earn 3 points by having the conversation, pronounced correctly. It sounds good. It's nice. You can earn 2 points if you have the full conversation and maybe mess up the pronunciation, or maybe you like blank out in the middle and you have this really awkward pause. That might earn you a 2 out of 3. A 1 out of 3 would be like you have part of the conversation and then you just quit. 0 out of 3, you don't do it. If you want to earn a 4 on this one out of 3, that's where you have the option to say your ABCs, like your full out ABCs. And if you can say those correctly, all of them, that could earn you a 4 out of 3 instead of a 3 out of 3. So that's an option you have after you do your conversation. You can just share that you are interested in saying your ABCs and do that kind of deal. So that is the 4th test out. So these 4 test outs have 4 separate grades in the grade book, but they all relate back to these goals we had at the beginning of the chapter. So you're basically showing me you can do these goals from the beginning of the chapter. If you have questions on like how you should study for these, or you need more clarification on what's expected of you, please feel free to email me over the weekend or today in class sometime, and I will get back to you as soon as I can and try to answer those questions or calm those nerves or things like that. If you are absent currently, if you're quarantined, if you're sick, we will arrange getting these done either when you return or maybe through some sort of online method as well. We'll deal with that once I see how many people are affected by it. So enjoy your day today. Happy Friday. And prepare yourself as best you can over the weekend for these 4 test outs so you can start out strong in Spanish 1. Adios.